Assalamualaikum students. This is direct and inverse proportions. We are in lecture 7. Okay, let's take another example in order to understand the concept of inverse proportions. Clearly we already discussed the concept of inverse proportions. We also took some examples. Right, here is another example about inverse proportions. Okay, the example is there are 100 students in a hostel. Food provision for them is for 20 days. Right, how long will this provision last if 25 more students join the group? The example is there are 100 students in a hostel, okay, and food for them, which is already in the hostel that has been stored, is for 20 days. Okay, so that means that means the food that is in the hostel available, that will last for 20 days if the number of students is 100. Now if 25 more students join the group, okay, now the total number of students is 125. 100 are already there and 25 more students join the group, so the total number of students now is 125. So the question is, how long will the provision of food for these 125 students will last? Okay, clearly this is the case of inverse proportions, because as the number of students increase, the provision for food, the availability of food will decrease. The number of days that the food will last, okay, that will definitely decrease. So this is the case of inverse proportions, right? So let's try to solve this. So let the for example, let the provision of food last for, say for example, y days. When the number of students increase to 125 is to 125. So let's tabulate this information. Okay, this is the table. Okay, so this is number of students and number of days. If number of students is 100, so the food will last for 20 days, and if the number increase by 25, so the number becomes 125, and let's suppose this number of days for which the food last, let's suppose that is y. So we know that this is the case of, we can write down clearly, it's the case of inverse proportions, not direct proportion, right? So therefore this multiplied by 100 multiplied by 20 is equal to 120 multiplied by y, right? Now, or y is equal to 100 multiplied by 20 divided by 25, right? 125, right? So if we reduce this, 25 fours are 25 fives are, right? 5 ones are 5 fours are 20, so that y is equal to 4 fours are 16 days, right? So alternately, so that means we can say that if the number of students increase by 25, so the number of days for which the food lasts, okay, that will be decreased by 4 days, that is equal to 16 days, right? So alternatively we can apply this formula as well. X1, say for example this x1 divided by x2 is equal to y1 divided by y2, right? So y2 divided by 1, this is inverse proportion, y2 divided by y1, right? So that will be equal to 100 divided by 20 x1 x2, right? Sorry, 100 divided by 125 into y2, this is x1 x2, this is y1 y2, y1 and y2. Okay, so this is x1 means 100, right? x2 means 125, then y2 is y1 y2, y2 means y, sorry, is equal to y2 means y, y1 is 20. Okay, after cross multiplication you can find that, so that means you rub this portion, so it will be y is equal to 100 into 20 divided by 125, so y will be equal to 16 days, right? Okay, so this is how we can solve the problems based on inverse proportions, right? Okay, Khuda Hafiz.